Hi bosses, hope you guys are doing great. Hey, just wanted to take a quick minute to actually talk about getting out of your comfort zone. Okay, so when I first got started in business, before business was even something I ever heard of, I was very, very shy. I grew up very shy. I remember being so shy that I didn't actually start dating literally until after college. Yes, I did not start dating until after college. That's how shy I was. But a quick testimony about business actually forced me to talk to people. Business actually, got me out of my comfort zone. So if you're feeling that you're not sure what to say, you're afraid to talk to people, but you know that you want to build your business, so let me assure you that you can definitely learn how to get out of your comfort zone. So there's a couple of tips to doing that. There's 4 of them specifically. So the first one is you got to actually put yourself out there. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, it's baby steps. I can talk to you about riding a bike. We can study about riding a bike. We could even picture ourselves riding a bike. But if we don't actually get on that bike, we're never really going to ride that bike. So it's the same way about actually putting yourself out there. You actually got to go up, put yourself out there. So you can do it slowly. You can actually meet some strangers if you feel comfortable with strangers, or if you don't feel comfortable with strangers, my first suggestion is actually saying hello. Okay, just saying something. And the most important part you want to do when to get your comfort zone is don't think about you so much. Focus on the other person. Make friends with the person by asking them about their interests, right? So we have something in business that I was taught a long time ago. It's called FORM. Okay, family is for F, O is for occupation, R is for recreation, and M is for motivation. So if you don't know what to say to start a conversation, I recommend using FORM, F-O-R-M, to actually use as a tool to actually start that conversation and learning more about your person, and eventually being able to build rapport and hopefully to continue the conversation. So that's the first tip. The second tip is a lot of times, aside from putting yourself out there, you really got to go out and actually network. Okay, network. And here's what I love: bring someone with you. Okay, so when you're networking to build your business, bosses, and you're not sure what to say, having that friend, having that wingman or that wingwoman really helps boost your confidence, because now you can help focus on your wingman or wingwoman. And when you're out networking, here's what I love: you don't get a lot of time, right, to talk to everybody, because you have to talk to everybody. So the good news is networking events takes the pressure off of those awkward moments, because you're kind of anticipating, you're kind of expected to actually spend a short period amount of time with talking to people. So if you're with your wingman or your wingwoman and you're going to talk to one person, make sure, here's what I recommend, make sure that you've got to have your elevator pitch to actually have that conversation. And yes, it may be a quick conversation, but focusing on that script, focusing on your pitch will help ease the burden of actually getting out of your comfort zone. Okay, so first thing, number 1, get yourself out there. Number 2, definitely use networking events and having a script. Okay, number 3. All right, so one of the things that I notice is that most young people especially tend to spend a lot more time on social media, chatting on Facebook, using chat apps, and it kind of takes away the art of conversation, right? So, it's pretty easy to hide behind those apps. It's easy to hide behind technology, but at the end of the day, business only comes, right, from building a relationship, or at least a conversation. So conversation, okay, equals customer. And if you can't have a conversation with the customer, number 1, it's going to be hard to get them. But let's say you do get them as a customer online. What about keeping them as a long-term customer? If not important, a repeat customer. Okay, so technology does help to actually, take the first step about getting out of comfort zone, but don't rely it as a crutch to actually have those important conversations. So here's what I recommend. Number 3, practice having conversations, right? And it's easy to have conversations with friends, but I recommend having some conversations with coworkers. And it's going to be awkward at first, especially when you're trying to have a conversation and wondering, like, that's not normal because you don't normally do that. But again, this is just practice. The art of conversation is getting yourself out there to actually have conversations, right? Practice. Remember riding a bike? You actually got to do it to actually, not put yourself on the gun with talking to complete strangers. So number 3, have practice conversations with people you already know, okay? And number 4, here's the most important part, is as you're having that ability to step outside your comfort zone, understand one thing, and here it is that a lot of people think that people will judge me. A lot of people are looking at me. Can I tell you a secret? Number 4 is that most people aren't really thinking about you. And I know that's a shocker, right? Because I used to think that when I was much younger. I used to think that, people were judging me or was looking at me. But then as I got older, I realized that most people don't even think about me at all. And when I realized that made me feel less stressed, made me feel even more excited, right, to actually talk to people, knowing that most people won't even remember the conversation. So here's the good news. Remember this, that most people, when you talk to them, okay, when you have conversations, when you're networking, bosses, that they won't necessarily remember what you say, more like they'll remember of how you make them feel. Okay, remember how you make them feel. So if you're carrying a conversation knowing the fact that most people won't even remember the conversation, take the load off and don't stress out about it, because number 1, okay, we talked about it, is that you gotta go ahead and put yourself out there. You gotta actually practice having conversations, right? That's really important. Number 2, you're gonna have to actually, guess what? Use a script, right? Also use networking events to make the script easier. Having wingman, having wingwomen to help you out, that makes it really great. Number 3, right? Yes, you can use technology to make things easier, but practicing conversations, right, with people that you already know, that you may not necessarily used to having conversations, will actually help giving you more confidence. And last but not least, having the mindset, having the knowledge that most people won't even remember, thank goodness, some of the conversations you have, more like they'll remember exactly how you make them feel. Okay, so understanding those 4 tips, I hope that helps you bosses to actually go out there, network, and absolutely crush it. And then remember, practice doesn't make perfect, but it certainly makes better. All right, have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.